Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome all of you back to... Oh, before we must... Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, I feel a little bit naked, first of all. So... Right, sorry about that, my friends. Now we are very sophisticated as we drip the charm and charisma of what it takes to be a certified, qualified YouTuber talking about really, really big things. So, let's talk about my really big thing, wisdom. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking out an In a Nutshell video that came out 2 days ago, called What Are You Doing With Your Life? The Tail End. I'll get into a little bit about this by the time we come to the end, because there is a very similar sort of story, I believe it's called The Egg, where they deal with an existential reality about what exactly does it mean to be someone on this planet. I'll get into that definitely in another time. In the meantime, however, we have got to find out just what the hell... In fact, never mind what I'm doing with my life, what are you guys doing with your life? If you've generally got nothing better to do with your time than watch me, somebody who dresses up in this very slick, sick getup, then, quite frankly, I think we've both made the right choice. Thumbs up to people who made the right choice. In fact, I tell you what, you can leave a like if you think you've made the right choice, and dislike if you've completely given up on yourself. You know, get people involved is what I'm talking about. So, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's begin. What are you doing with your life?
Wrapping your mind around your life is pretty hard because you're up to your neck in it. It's like trying to understand the ocean while learning how to swim. On most days, you're busy just keeping your head above water, so it's not easy to figure out what to do with your life and how to spend your time. There are a million distractions: your family, friends and romantic partners, boring work and exciting projects, video games to play and books to read. And then there's your couch that somebody needs to lie on. It's easy to get lost. So let's take a step back and look at your life from the outside.
I'm liking this already, yeah? I always like their videos, so what I'm talking about. Kurzgesagt.
The average Kurzgesagt viewer is around 25 years old, which is a pretty good time in the life of most people. The insecurities of the teenage years have begun to recede. Maybe you find yourself in a job or a long-term relationship. Maybe you've started a family or are working on an advanced degree. Maybe you're not doing any of that and still want to enjoy life, whatever that means to you. Or maybe you feel stuck and don't know where to go yet. About 1 in 20 people watching this video will get to live to 100. Let's assume you are one of the lucky ones, which means you had a total of 5,200 weeks of life at your disposal when you were born. You spent the first 600 weeks of your life being a kid and 400 being a teenager. During this time, you were pretty useless for society and also not very free to make your own decisions. As a payoff, you were somewhat spared from the consequences and responsibilities of adulthood. Mostly because well-meaning adults protected you by cleaning up your mess and giving you time to find yourself. This time is necessary to make you, at least in theory, a functioning human. Although most people probably don't feel like that after puberty. In any case, by the time you're 20, over 1,000 of your 5,200 weeks have passed. Depending on what you aspire to, at this point you're either working already or have entered further education.
That's kind of very, very scary already, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's taking a wild guess. I mean, if I reach to 100, that's putting things into perspective. And I think that's very, very important, to put things into perspective. And the only way to do that is to sometimes go to a source that is not going to be yourself or intentionally biased towards yourself. You need somebody perhaps you've never met before. maybe you need to like ask for their perspective. There's loads of people to actually ask, because it's one of the biggest issues I've saw. Like, well, I call it an issue. I don't really particularly think it's an issue. I think the situation when I look at it is the fact that I'm not entirely sure if the things I've planned out are going to come to fruition, because what happens then if they don't come to fruition? Do I have a plan B prepared? What if that doesn't work? I'm sort of like cut in a situation where I know, with a bit of concentration and a bit of perseverance and a bit of hard work, I know I could turn my luck around just like that. At the same time, however, ladies and gentlemen, there are many things, there are obstacles in place, but there is also the desire of whether or not it is what I really want. And perhaps maybe that's why I've not necessarily sought out exactly what I truly want, because maybe it's not what I want. Maybe because I understand all the consequences and the sort of world I'll be put into if I follow through. But what about if I don't try at all? I mean, I've talked about this before. I've been turned down from job applications before. About 2 days ago, I was turned away from an opportunity to work for a place called Blueprint Studios. And because they said specifically in the email they sent to me is that we can only take applicants who live in Team Valleys or somewhere in Gateshead, basically south of the Tyne, or on the other side of the Tyne, I should say. Despite this, they sent out another email saying they are still looking for applicants. Now I'm starting to feel as if like I've made the right choice in them not accepting me, because despite the fact that they told me that I was ineligible from qualifying, despite the fact that they said absolutely nothing about my application, they're still offering me this opportunity, or they're at least still sending out an email. So why should I be with people who don't know what they want? They're the ones that are supposed to be in charge. They should know fine well what they want. If they don't know what they want, then how is that going to inspire confidence in me? So maybe possibly it was for the betterment of everyone that job didn't work out. That isn't going to stop me. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're seeing this video in the future right now, it means either one of two things. Either it's all come to fruition, or it hasn't. And I've decided to simply vanish from the internet and become one of the obscure martyrs of the what might have been life.
The amount of fun you can have in this phase of your life varies a lot. If you pick up a trade or need to work to support yourself or others, the serious side of life begins earlier. If you go to university, you get to push back work life a bit longer. In any case, most people start working for real in their 20s at the latest, which begins the productive or potentially grindy or soul-crushing period of your life.
Yikes.
People tend to work until the age of 65. Which means that you'll spend at least 2,000 weeks of your life with serious adult work, hopefully in a job that makes you feel good and appreciated, or that makes the world better. This is such an important thing that we'll look at work and how you can try to find a...
That's very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Whether or not the job I currently do at the moment makes me feel appreciated. I'm not crying, guys. I'm not crying.
A satisfying career in another video. This is the main block of life for most people, the time when you might have kids and travel a bit, and climb the career ladder, and build a house, may get divorced and fall in love again. In this phase, you transition from being young to middle-aged to old. Not old, but the young old of your 60s. At 65, you've used up 3,400 of your 5,200 weeks. The last phase of your life begins. If you've managed to acquire enough wealth to retire, In theory, you're now free to do whatever you like for up to 1,800 weeks. But of course, this is not how it works for the majority of you watching this video. 19 out of 20 people will not live to 100. The average lifespan in the US is 79. In Germany, it's 81. In Japan, 84. In Brazil, it's 75. If you die at age 80, which is still not bad, you only have 780 weeks of freedom after you retire. That's roughly as many weeks of freedom as an old person as you spent as a child. Unfortunately, disease and the tiredness of age trip you up here, because with old age, the human body begins to decline sharply. For example, the vast majority of cancer-related deaths occur in people over 70. If you bet all your fun cards on being free and happy in your retirement, you might be bitterly disappointed. And all of this is still assuming things work out and you even get to grow old. You can drown in a pool at age 7, get cancer at age 32, die in a car crash at age 48. You can fall from a ladder at age 60. Every day the universe rolls a bunch of dice for every human, and every day someone somewhere on this planet rolls a critical failure and their life ends that day. The older you get, the more dice are rolled for you. Usually when you swim through the ocean that is your life, you don't think about all of this too much, and that's fine. Life is engaging enough by itself, and the future is this undefined weird thing. But thinking about it from
I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. There's something engaging. Am I engaging? Am I... Why do I get the impression, ladies and gentlemen, why do I get the impression that suddenly I don't feel very engaging? Something's not right. Wait a minute. Yeah, if this video is teaching me at least one thing, it's making me realize that something's got to change. I'm just staring at this title. What are you doing with your life? I may as well just answer saying I feel like I'm doing nothing at all. Because that's what I feel like's happening to me. I feel like I'm doing nothing.
From time to time is helpful in refocusing on what you want to do and to minimize regrets you will have when you look back. And to remind you that if you don't use your time today, you might not get a chance to use it tomorrow. Life is complicated, and it's hard to make decisions between all the things and people that are important to you. This has become painfully obvious to billions of people during the coronavirus pandemic. If you respected social distancing, so many things that we took for granted were not available anymore. Traveling and public places and eating out and seeing friends and meeting new people. Spending time together became limited and precious, but actually, the time you have with the people you love is already precious. Think of your parents. As a child, you spend basically every day with them. Your time spent together begins to decline as you transition and become a teenager and fight to develop your own identity. But as teenagers, you probably still see them regularly, which changes as you enter your 20s when most people move out, for university, for work, or just to be on their own. If you're making an effort to be with your parents for 2 full weeks each year for the rest of their lives, which covers the main holidays, birthdays, and a bit extra, you still have already spent more than 90% of the time you will ever spend with them, even if they grow pretty old. If they die earlier, or if you see them only a few days each year, this number shrinks even more. So, in all likelihood, the vast majority of time you will ever spend with your parents has passed. The same holds true for your siblings or old friends that moved to the other side of the country. You're at the tail end of the time with some of the most important people in your life. One day, you will see them for the last time. And it's actually the same with everything else. The concept of doing something for the last time feels eerie, like something that you should only experience when you're on death row or extremely old or something like that, but it happens all the time. Is there a hobby you've been lazy about for a long time? Maybe you still have those Warhammer minis that you wanted to paint. Did you always want to revisit that place where you had an amazing time a decade ago? Is there someone you wanted to reach out to for a long time but haven't yet? Or pick up that sport again to meet new friends? Maybe you will never do any of these things again because life gets in the way and at some point it's too late. As the global pandemic begins to wind down, we will all soon be able to be with each other again and do fun things together. It's never a bad time to reach out to a friend or a potential friend and let them know that you're looking forward to hanging out. But no matter when you're watching this, our life is an incredible gift, and there are so many fun, engaging, and fulfilling things to do. And you get to decide what and who matters to you. But what matters the most is that you actually make decisions from time to time. This video was based on and inspired by an article by our friend Tim Urban of Wait But Why, the best blog on the internet. Be sure to check it out to get more new perspectives on things. Also, if you want a reminder about the things we still want to do in life, with Tim's permission, we created a Kurzgesagt version of the calendar of your life that lets you track how many weeks of your life you've spent already and how many you have left. You can also color in the weeks to keep track of exactly how you're spending them. If you're just looking for a visual reminder to put things in perspective, we've made a timeline of your life. It's printed in vibrant neon colors on high-quality paper and will look great as an art piece on your wall. Like all of our products, these posters were designed with love and produced with care by us here at Kurzgesagt. Getting something from our shop is the best way to support our channel while getting something beautiful in return. Because of you, we can keep making elaborate videos like the one you just watched and release them for free for everyone. Thank you so much for your support.
Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Kurzgesagt's What Are You Doing With Your Life? The Tail End. Okay, I'm going to yeah, remember what I was said about, not crying? Yeah, unfortunately, that's okay, there we go. Right, it's sort of become... Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, during the course of this video, I got, there's no other way of putting it, incredibly upset about something. It's about whether or not, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have ever went through this process before, about whether or not they've just, the best times of their life has already came and went. And when sometimes there's people out there who simply think there's nothing better for this world to look up to. There are many millions of people who probably would go through that notion throughout history. Certainly, maybe in the last 100 years or something like that, people have probably still hauntedly crushed by visions of the First World War. And no doubt that, terrible reigns of terrible poverty stricken across land after land. Okay, listen. The thing I need to make, honestly, like I said earlier, that something has to change, and I feel as if I have to change, because the environment is not going to change for me. It's not going to change itself just to make me feel any better about this. But it's a constant reminder, ladies and gentlemen, about the fact that life is very short, and somehow I feel as if it's even shorter than I think I could have possibly have ever predicted. Have you guys may have heard me mention this idea beforehand, ladies and gentlemen, that I had this idea that I would die by the age of about 26. I'll tell you exactly why I said it. Because I could die at 26, but I could die at 25. I could probably die in the next 16 minutes for all I know. And the thing about that is because, well, it's a constant reminder that anything could happen at any time. So do something you really want to do now, because you might not get the chance anymore. I feel it's like, but okay, so here's the thing. If we were to take that idea that, you know, that at any point I could die, then am I only doing things out of fear? I'm going to talk about this extensively in a much later video, but it's a very, very important topic that I kind of wanted some ideas and perspectives on. Am I only existing just to do things out of fear? Not because I actually like them, not because I don't want to be grateful for the people around me, not because I enjoy the foods that I eat. Am I only doing things just because I'm too scared to do or to bow to anything else? Has behavioral patterns just become instinctive because of my response to fear of my own mortality? Am I only doing things because I'm too scared of admitting that it's far too late? Am I only doing things now because suddenly it's occurred to me? Or am I only doing things just because I want to try and forget about the pain or the fear of dying? And now it's sort of like I'm still having a hard time like reflecting on my time at university, because as some of you guys probably may have already known, I didn't exactly enjoy my time at university very much. And without wanting to go into too much detail, ever since I left, I honestly felt as if like I had no chance in this life. I felt as if like whatever good my intentions were, or whatever I thought for myself, or whatever I really wanted to do with my life, it was already decided. I don't really believe in the whole thing about dice in life, ladies and gentlemen, and how things are rolled for you. I believe that things happen as a result of many consequences about behavior, about grades, about the things you do on other people, the way they respond to you, the sort of thing you're enlisting yourself into. The fact that sometimes I'm quite ignorant about certain things that I want to do, and I go into them and without really fully understanding or grasping exactly what's demanded of me, and plenty of things of like that aside. I'm not really the sort of thing who really like bets on, you know, games of luck, to be honest. Probably my parents will at least outlive maybe one of their siblings. It'll probably be, luckily enough, it'll probably be me for all I knew. So, the big thing, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what I'm going to do about it. And that's the biggest thing right there. And listen, I'm a big advocate for the idea of free will, of, you know, being able to decide what the hell I'm doing with my life. I should be the one to decide that, and nobody else. I shouldn't be intimidated to, you know, be able to learn to drive. Just because, you know, it looks good on a CV, apparently. I shouldn't be intimidated by the fact that people seem to think that I have absolutely no prospects to get employment at all. I shouldn't feel intimidated for the fact that just because I work a hectic schedule and have almost no time, you know, to, you know, go down to the pub or, you know, talk to friends that I haven't seen for years. I shouldn't feel as if, like, I can't do that sort of thing anymore just because this is... But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, the things I'm doing now, 9 times out of 10, are absolutely of my own choice. The fact that I'm making videos is completely of my choice. If it was up to anybody else, they would not have done what I'm doing. The fact that I chose to work these 75 hours a week is my choice. The fact that I know that the pay for my job is not great, and the fact that there may be no prospect for the fact that I might continue, and I'll still continue to be treated like dirt by management, or they'll just somehow remember 10 months or 11 months down the line that I'm in need of an induction meeting. I'm not just doing these things, ladies and gentlemen, just because, you know, they're the only options available. I'm doing them because they are my choice. I decide what I do with my life, and it shouldn't be anyone else's. But then the question follows, ladies and gentlemen, why should I be upset if, you know, I've made my decision? Why should I be upset for the fact that many people would have loved the sort of life I'm doing right now, and the fact that I'm all the yada yada yada? Why should people be upset over me for something like that? Well, because it's not, all that glitters is not gold, ladies and gentlemen. I'm fair to say something like that. But you know what also is actually, you know, not fair, in all seriousness? The fact that some people may probably look on this situation saying that maybe it was just not meant to be. To that I say, no. It was supposed to be, but I feel like it was wrong time, wrong place, wrong people. I try nowadays to systematically tell myself that you shouldn't go around blaming other people. You need to take responsibility for what you've done. You need to recognize all those sorts of things. I'm trying later on in my life to work into myself into a system that it's not, you know, the world doesn't revolve around me and not everything is other people's fault. I try and do that. But if people saw things from how I see them, that might be a different matter. It's a bitter thing it's a very bitter pill to swallow, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm not so much like living in regret. I'm living in confusion. Confusion about just what the hell happened to me. I mean, my shoulder is got a giant metal plate on it. My chest has got this red rash on it. The acne on my back is terrible. There's a giant crevasse on my buttock and that because of a giant spot, and it's driving my arse mad with itch. When walking sometimes becomes hard work because of just how much pressure I'm putting on my legs. And sometimes I feel as if like I can barely speak because people don't seem to listen, or they just don't understand. If there's one thing I could probably take away from this video, ladies and gentlemen, is that I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this as a man. I'm going to do this with some air of dignity and responsibility, because you know what? If I am going to die by the age of 26, then I may as well, how much time have I got? About 2 years and 9 months. If I really am going to die by that time, ladies and gentlemen, then I may as well do something, actually worthwhile. I may as well give back in the best way that I can. And I need to forget this idea of being feared or scared about just doing things just so that people remember me fondly. I want people to remember me for the person that I was and the person that I still am. I don't want to be remembered for things that, have to bow to peer pressure or stuff like that. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude this video, I am going to live my life. I am going to enjoy it, whether people like it or not. That is what I'm going to do in my life. I'm going to enjoy it for my benefit, not for anyone else's. I'm going to do things because they are what I want to do. Not because people tell me, not because people think it's right or wrong. I'm just going to do things because that's what I want to do. You know what? People don't understand. Well, that's fine. I don't want them to understand. I want them to just at least listen to me when I say the things that I want to do and the things I got to say. I I was halfway through this video feeling, you know, teary-eyed and full of despair. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I feel as if, like, I once again have a new meaning to understanding what purpose I have on this earth. And I have what you might consider some unfinished business. That's an encouraging thought. And with all that being said and done, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video to Kyrgyzart's What Are You Doing With Your Life? And I will hope to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.